There is something happening right now, in this very season, that most parents are completely unaware of. And if you have a son, whether he's a teenager finding his way, a young man stepping into his purpose, or even a grown son still wrestling with his destiny, what I'm about to share with you could change everything before this week is over. You are not just a parent. You are a spiritual gatekeeper. And gatekeepers don't wait. They act. The Bible makes it undeniably clear that parents carry a legal authority in the heavenly realms over the lives of their children. When you open your mouth and speak life, when you intercede with boldness, you are not simply saying words into the air. You are issuing decrees that heaven responds to. You are cutting chains that the enemy thought were permanent. You are opening doors that circumstances said were sealed shut. But here's what most parents miss: that authority has a dimension of timing attached to it. And right now, tangences. Not next week, not next month. Hasvig. We are moving through a rare intersection in April 2026 that spiritually discerning believers cannot afford to ignore. Think about what this season historically represents. Spring has always been the season of new beginnings in Scripture. Passover, resurrection, the early harvest, these were never random events on a calendar. They were divine appointments woven into the fabric of time itself. And we are sitting in the middle of one of those appointments right now. There is a convergence happening this week between prophetic cycles, the spiritual atmosphere over families, and the specific warfare targeting young men in this generation. Your son is not just navigating a career decision, a relationship, a personal struggle, or a spiritual dry season on his own. He is moving through a battlefield. And the enemy understands timing far better than most believers do. That is precisely why the next 72 hours carry such unusual weight. When heaven releases a window of divine favor and acceleration, there are signs in the atmosphere. You begin to see restlessness in the spirit. Intercessors around the world feel an unusual urgency to pray without fully understanding why. Families begin to experience sudden tension, unexpected conflict, and an almost inexplicable heaviness because the enemy moves aggressively to distract and discourage right before a breakthrough manifests. If your son has been experiencing unusual resistance lately, if doors have been closing in rapid succession, if doubt and discouragement have seemed louder than ever, do not interpret that as abandonment. Interpret it as confirmation that something significant is on the other side. Darkness intensifies its pressure precisely when it senses it is about to lose ground. But here is the part that changes everything for you as a parent. You cannot be passive right now. Passive waiting in a season like this is not faith, it is negligence. The window does not stay open indefinitely. Spiritual seasons shift, cycles close, and the grace that was available for a specific moment moves on when that moment passes. This is not meant to produce fear in you. It is meant to awaken you. It is meant to shake off any comfort or complacency and remind you that what you do in this window actually matters in ways that extend far beyond what your natural eyes can see. So what does this practically mean for you and your son? It means you open your mouth this week. You pick up the phone, you sit across the table from him, or you go into your prayer closet and stand before God on his behalf and you speak. You declare that confusion does not have a home in his mind. You decree that every assignment the enemy has sent against his identity is cancelled. You call forth the destiny that God authored over his life before he ever took his first breath. You remind heaven and you remind your son that the breakthrough is not coming. It is already unfolding. Your intercession right now is not a desperate attempt to get God's attention. It is alignment with what God has already set in motion. Think about the fathers and mothers in Scripture who understood this. When Jacob blessed his sons, he was not simply speaking kind words of encouragement. He was releasing prophetic decrees that shaped generational trajectories. When Hannah prayed over Samuel before she ever conceived him, she was authorizing a destiny in the spirit. When a father feet and said, "Come and lay your hands on my daughter," he was exercising the spiritual authority of a parent who refused to let the window close without acting. You are standing in that same position right now. Your son needs to hear your voice in this season, not just as his parent, but as his spiritual covering. He needs to hear you say that you see who God made him to be, even when he cannot see it himself. He needs to hear that the doubts chasing him are not prophetic, they are noise. He needs to hear that the delay he has been experiencing is not a denial, and that what looks like a closed door from his perspective is actually a divine redirection towards something far greater than the thing he lost. Before this week ends, speak life over your son. Do it with urgency. Do it with the full weight of the spiritual authority God has placed in your hands as His parent. Because this window is open right now, and what you do before it closes will matter for a very